Fala pessoal, Rato aqui e hoje trazendo um super bate-papo que eu tive com o Kyle Schaefer, vocalista da banda Fallujah, ali dos Estados Unidos, uma banda de prog death, ó, muito legal, que está se preparando para o lançamento do seu próximo álbum, o Xenotaph, que sai no dia 13 de junho. Esse bate-papo a gente fez através de um convite também da Nuclear Blast, então já deixo aqui meus agradecimentos ao Marcos Franke. E, pô, também tive a oportunidade de ouvir esse álbum aí de antemão. E, cara, sensacional. Super recomendo vocês a ouvirem os dois singles já lançados nas plataformas aí, Spotify, Apple, etc. Que realmente já prepara, né, o pessoal para essa mudança que a banda tá passando por através de todo o processo criativo, lírico e de diferentes níveis vocais, né, que o Kyle tá agregando desde a sua entrada ali em 2022 na banda, mas essa entrada aqui na época ainda foi num processo de um álbum ali próximo da finalização, uma coisa que ele comenta aí na entrevista, e que agora com esse novo álbum tem ali 100% toda essa nova cozinha, essa nova química que a banda tá apresentando aí. Então, sem mais delongas, fica aí com a entrevista, espero que vocês gostem e não esqueça de curtir, compartilhar e, é claro, se inscrever aí no canal.
Kyle,
Hello. Hey,
hello.
how's
How's
it
it
going?
going? Pretty well, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Doing well here.
Oh, nice. Oh, man, you have like a really nice setup happening there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Nice.
yeah. This is you can kind of see it off the side. This is my cardboard homemade vocal booth over here. It look less nice if you can see the whole thing. It's like a giant chunk of cardboard in the middle of my room. But
Oh,
I'm glad it
yeah.
looks okay on the camera.
Yeah, it does. I mean, never spill your secrets, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. But hey, it
all
works,
right.
gets the job done.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, super pleasure to meet you. My name is Pedro. Today I'm talking from independent page called O SubSolo,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
I'm here to ask a few questions. So yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys have been pretty busy with your upcoming new album, Xenotaph, right?
Hmm.
And of course, the vast majority of questions that I have for you today are about it. But before we kind of unpack a little bit, I would love to hear like more in general lines of what Xenotaph is about, like what is this new album really about?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so yeah, I guess I could speak to it in two different ways, like in terms of the music and in terms of the lyrics. And I'll try to give the short version because I have a lot to say about it. But yeah, so this is our sixth album. I've only been in the band for a few years. Like I joined in about 2022 as our third vocalist we've had. So the previous album I joined for, that one was already in progress when I joined. So that one I kind of came in to help finish it. But even though I wrote the lyrics and everything, it's like the music, there was already a vision for it all, and I kind of came in to help complete it. This album, as opposed to that, this one I was able to work on from the very beginning, and this was a very collaborative album. Um, and so for me, I'm excited to like have gotten to sort of influence the song structures and the whole, just this one was just really made as a band unit from the ground up. Um, and I think in a pretty natural way, due to like the influences I bring to the table and the influences some of the other members bring to the table, I think this is the most like colorful and dynamic and most like adventurous album we've done. That was a very particular goal we had. Like from looking at some of our favorite music and some of our favorite like technical progressive metal albums, um, we wanted to make an album that was like very dense and has tons of ideas, tons of parts all crammed into it, but it's not like super long. Like the idea was make an album that you can listen to, sit down and listen to it in one sitting without getting exhausted, but at the same time, there's so much material squeezed into it. Looking at bands like The Faceless, Cynic, just between the Buried and Me, I guess they make long albums, but like just this idea of like squeezing as much as we can into a sort of compact package. That was really the goal with this, and just wanted it to be very dynamic, have like more melodic parts than ever before, but also still very technical, and yeah, just wanted it to feel very exciting and like it's an adventure going through. And then sort of in line with that, it's a concept album, so the lyrics tell a story from beginning to end as well. That sort of, in my mind, sort of flows with the music. Like the album starts off sort of more bright and sort of ethereal and melodic, and then gradually gets much darker as it progresses. And the story follows a similar arc to that. Yeah, and so I think in many ways, like just this to me, this feels like a very cohesive album. Like we had a very clear vision for it before we sat down and started writing. Which was that we were able to do that because of our situation. Having a solid lineup now and just working on it together from the ground up. And to me, I'm very happy with how it came out.
Oh man, that's awesome. And I mean, it really feels that way, I have the opportunity to listen to it, and it's like
Awesome, yeah.
really, really nice, like really, really a cool piece of work. And it really translates to what you just have said, especially like when I was like even thinking about how in a way it's very complex and well structured, but it's also like very accessible, like you feel the song kind of conducting you through all of it. And I feel that it really arranged itself super well also, like with this more lyrical part of it, like you really can feel kind of how can I put it? Like maybe you untapping into this new realm or this new
Yeah,
world
yeah.
per se, and you kind of not you don't know, you don't have like that much sure of what's happening, and you like having like that first impression, and then you kind of goes down the rabbit hole, and then you kind of start unpacking everything, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
you nailed it. Yeah. That's thank you, man. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly in line with the story. Like that's what you described is totally how it unfolds. Like it's sort of exploring this whole new realm, and like at first the story basically begins at the moment of the narrator's death. Like wakes up in this strange afterlife world, and we chose the artwork for it before I wrote any lyrics. Like we chose the artwork very early on. And so the artwork actually influenced my story a lot. Like I had a general idea for it, but to me, I wrote as if the artwork was part of the story. Like the first song on the album literally describes the album cover. And to me, it's like that's what the character sees when he dies and wakes up in this other dimension, basically meets this angelic sort of guiding figure, has no idea what's going on. It's like this crazy place. It's like he's dead, but this world is nothing like what people would imagine for heaven or hell or anything like that. And sort of yeah goes on this journey with that angelic character like guiding him through it. But then like it's starts off nice and beautiful, but then becomes darker, and there's some sort of twists that happen later on that sort of turn the whole thing upside down. But yeah, it's what you described is exactly how it's supposed to feel. It's like this new world, and you are slowly uncovering it as you go through.
Yeah, and I mean, as you mentioned, like the artwork itself is like so beautiful. Like it gave me a lot of that kind of Magic the Gathering type of
Yeah.
card.
Well, the artist Peter Moorbacher who made it, we worked with him 3 times for Fallujah now. He's done 2 of our other records. But before that, he has actually done art for Magic the Gathering cards in the past. So you're spot on
Oh.
with it as well. I don't think he's done that in a while, but I know he at least has for some part of his career he was working with Magic the Gathering.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
there you
funny enough.
go.
Yeah. I'm not that far then. Nice to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
And well, since we're speaking about it, like even the name Xenotaph, it's like it's a made up word. I'm not like that much familiar with it, and if
Yeah, yeah,
so,
it is.
that would be like the idea of the name of the entity itself. Like what's like kind of the general idea of the naming also.
Yeah, so it is a made up word, like you said. And the title was like the very last thing we got for the album. We spent so long not knowing what to call this whole thing. Like we really had no titles we liked for a very long time. And eventually, one of our friends suggested the word cenotaph, which is like the same but spelled with a C. That's a real word. It means like empty tomb, essentially. And our friend suggested that, and we thought it was kind of cool. And I liked the idea of like the empty tomb, sort of like to me, I kind of connected it with like this afterlife sort of world, like this place where the character finds himself in. Um, but the word felt a little bit like a little too soft or too like plain or something. And I think it was our guitar. I forget exactly the moment it happened, but I think our guitarist Scott suggested like just changing it. He's like, it just looks cool with an X, Xenotaph. And he said it because it just looked cool. It looks like a tech death sort of word. But to me, immediately, like it made sense because like like the word xeno, like xenomorph, for example, like from the Alien movies, like xeno means like sort of otherworldly or like strange or alien, sort of something like that. And to me, that was like perfect because even though it's a made up word, to me it means like an like otherworldly tomb, sort of. So the word is never referenced in the lyrics exactly because again, we came up with the title after. It's more like thematically and aesthetically connected. But to me, it's like I think of that as like the realm that the character finds himself in.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, and funny that you mentioned because like when I first heard it about it, and I mean I went a little bit on of the backstory, a little bit of the songs and all. I kind of had like this feeling of a xenomorph and
Yeah.
maybe like kind of a Cenobite as well, because you have
Yeah.
like kind of unfolding of the entity itself. So that kind of gave me some Hellraiser vibes. But
Totally.
yeah, I mean it's interesting because thinking about as a realm as opposed to like individual also like gives a lot of depth as well. So really
Mhm.
interesting.
The another thing we liked about it is that because it reminds us of other things as well, right? Like Xeno is such a like striking sort of part of the word that it makes you think of other stuff, like you just said. And to us, it also reminded us of like Xenochrist by the Faceless and Epitaph by Necrophagist. There's a lot of like on this album, we really set out to make something that made us feel the same way that like a lot of our favorite like legendary technical death metal albums made us feel. And like we took a lot of direct inspiration from like we sat down and listened to full records from The Faceless and from Cynic and from Necrophagist and just like tried to sort of analyze like why is this music so great? Like why are the best moments like so memorable and amazing? And like we tried to take a lot of inspiration from that. And so when we came up with this title that also reminds us of like some of those bands, we were like perfect. You know, it's not
Yes.
why we chose it, but just that's like the icing on the cake.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. And but still like when you decided to kind of untap a little bit of this um afterlife kind
Mhm.
of theme, how was to you kind of deal with it? Because usually when like writing and thinking and dealing with death usually is like one of the our biggest struggles as human beings. And
Yeah.
although like you have like a really kind of sci-fi take on it, and like there is like a universe where the idea of death is not that much like centered, it still is there, like it still is a topic and all. And like how was for you also like personally to like kind of dealing with it and like navigating through it, like how was kind of that idea?
Yeah, well, that's what you just said is like sort of exactly what I was trying to like bridge. Like when I was like I decided very early on that I wanted to make a concept album story. At first I didn't know what to write about, but I was like, okay, let's figure out a cool concept that can go through the whole album. And like um to me making it like sort of inspired by sci-fi, like that felt like a pretty obvious choice to me just with like the aesthetic of the band and just all of the media that we all love. Like even before I met the other guys in Fallujah, like we have a lot of the same favorite movies and favorite sort of like science fiction media and stuff like that. So to me, it felt very natural to be like, okay, let's do something that feels like sort of otherworldly science fiction themes. But at the same time, like a lot of Fallujah's music, like even songs that were written by the vocalist before me, songs that I had nothing to do with, like I've met enough people at shows that tell me that they connected with the lyrics and that like they have emotional connections with it, that like I knew that for this album, even if I'm writing some sort of alien story, it's like it has to feel personal. You know, it can't just be about aliens on another planet or whatever. Like it needs to feel, and I like writing in a way that feels emotional and personal also. So I was like, I needed something to sort of connect those things where it's like science fiction, but also, you know, personal and like has actual emotions in it. And so to me, death was like sort of that linking concept because it is, you know, like you said, it's one of the most real things that somebody can really, you know, have emotional feelings about. But at the same time, there's this like, there's room for sort of mystery in it, you know, like this idea of what happens after we die. And to me, I was like, that's perfect. It's like this connection between the personal and the like endless possibility of science fiction. And yeah, so that's kind of what I started with. I was like, okay, the theme has to be death. It has to involve this sort of death and like what happens after we die. And I'm not like a religious person or anything. And one thing that I wanted to avoid, like just for the sake of not being cliche or whatever, is like I didn't want it to feel like it was anything resembling like traditional ideas of heaven or hell or something like that. I was like, what if you die and you go to some place that is just so incredibly beyond regular human senses and regular human comprehension that you just to me that almost felt more realistic. It's like what if we are just so limited by our human bodies that we can't even imagine or comprehend what it's like, you know, out there. So that was sort of the idea. That was like the inspiration for it. So I was like, let's have this character die at the beginning and the whole story is in this other sort of world. You know, and there's this like guiding figure from the album cover that takes him through it. And yeah, just to me that the reason I went that route with the story is because I wanted it to still feel like personal.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. It's like one of those things when someone asks you like, hey, try to imagine a color that doesn't exist or
Yeah,
that
exactly.
we can think of. It's really interesting. Yeah. And
Totally. Yeah, like I wanted to like the lyrics are written kind of abstractly. Like I think if somebody just read through it, not knowing anything about it, I think they would have a general idea of the story, maybe, but it's pretty vague. Like, and I kind of intentionally write like that. I don't want to be too obvious with like, and then this character said this, and then they walked over here and this happened. Like, I like sort of writing a little bit more abstract than that. Um, but yeah, no, I agree.
no, and it fits well as well because uh also like because of some points of the structure of the music by them being like complex. Also like it's nice because then you have like this urge to go back to and listen again, and when you also like you start to maybe getting a note or something that you didn't take at first, you also kind of have like this moment to also absorb something of the lyric that you didn't before. So it's like this really nice way for you to keep coming back as well. So that's another thing that it really hit me there because yeah, I mean it's interesting.
Thanks, yeah. And you know, I like hearing other people's interpretations of it as well. Like, again, you know, I like talking about the story and telling people kind of what it's about, but at the same time, like sometimes people, you know, hear the lyrics and they kind of have their own idea of what it's about, and I find that interesting too. You know, it's like if it could be about whatever you think it's about, you know, as the listener, 100%. And
Yeah,
I was gonna say before I forgot, but what you said about like the like imagine a color that doesn't exist, you know, I was also thinking about stuff like that when I was writing, and I wanted to kind of convey that in the lyrics. Like I wanted to somehow give the like convey the idea that this world is supposed to be like literally beyond human senses and thoughts, and like so there's lines like in the first song where he meets the guide and it says like I hear it speaking without a sound. And it's like this idea of like they're not speaking English, they're not communicating like that. It's like so far beyond normal human experiences that I literally had that same thought, like the color thing.
oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. And yeah, and I think that make a lot of sense what you said also, like about to let people, take their own interpretation, because even when you think about something that is really beyond, it will not be like the same beyond to
Yeah,
everyone, right? So I
exactly.
think like that kind of way of why you guys like did it, like it's very thoughtful and really interesting. And it also takes to another question, because like from previous works of Fallujah, it's also like a very, not only a very concept, but a very different type of work, maybe even like a little bit bold of you guys, and to take that kind of path of introducing like maybe more clean vocals.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
um when back a little bit earlier, when you mentioned about this kind of bridge and a way to, maybe balance everything, do you think like the clean vocals also came in a way to kind of give this like exactly like that kind of, intention, emotion, and balance to it?
Yeah, that was pretty much the idea. Like, so for me personally, like I've been doing clean singing for longer than I've been doing growls. Like I've been screaming for, over 10 years at this point, but like I still started singing before that. And like just personally, I think of myself as a better singer than screamer. And like, as much as I love death metal, and a lot of my favorite bands are only harsh vocals, but and Fallujah is like, very vast majority of it was like death metal vocals in the past. Despite all that, like when I'm hearing like the instrumental tracks for Fallujah before there's vocals on it, and if I'm just writing in my most natural way, like just expressing myself in the way that to me feels the most exciting and the most kind of like in line with the music I like, it just involves clean vocals. Like I like having melodies. I like harmonies. It gives sort of like yeah, I just see it as like a writing tool. And for me, like if I was in a band where I wasn't doing any clean vocals, like it would still be fun, but I would feel like I wasn't using my greatest strength, at least for what I see. And like um yeah, it's so for one, like it's to me there's multiple considerations. Like I do care what like people think. Like as a fan of other bands, you don't want your favorite bands to totally alienate you and lose their whole character, So like I'm conscious of that. But to me, I thought there was plenty of room to like do exactly what I would want to do on my own. If I forget everybody else, then I'm like, here's what I like the most in the music. To me, there was plenty of room to combine that with like what Fallujah is supposed to sound like. And I think it's actually very easy to do both. Like, to me, it felt like there's like the longer I've been in this band and the more I understand the music, like the more I think I really know what makes the music unique and what makes Fallujah Fallujah. And to me, it's like there's very simple boxes we have to check where it's like, yeah, like for it to sound like Fallujah, we need Scott's lead guitars, we need some death metal vocals, we need some fast drums, we need cool riffs and cool chord progressions. Like, and I think as long as we have that stuff, I personally think there's a ton of room to explore our own influences around that while still keeping the heart of the band. So that was kind of the goal for me. And I think on the previous album, I was much more worried about the other considerations. Like I didn't really know how it would come off. Like me being the new guy, and not wanting to mess it up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try really hard to make this sound like what Fallujah is supposed to sound like. And I've sort of realized later on that there's plenty of room for us to explore around that, at least in my opinion. And on this album, I was like, let's just make the music that we think is most exciting. We'll check to make sure that it still sounds like Fallujah, which to me it does, But yeah, I think there's room for other stuff too. And then it was just in line with like trying to make very exciting, progressive, dynamic music. Like just having more variety in the vocals just totally lines up with that to me. It's like if the vocals are very dynamic and doing a lot of different things, it just enhances the ups and downs of the music and it makes the heavy parts hit harder because it's not always heavy, and vice versa. Like the melodic parts are melodic because they come at surprising times, like in the midst of all the growls and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it just made it more progressive and dynamic while also being true to, I think the music that I love.
No, yeah, I totally get you there, and I agree 100%. But still, like, and how was a little bit of this background process like for the composition? Because okay, you were kind of the new guy, then you get a little bit mixed between the other guys, and like um with this album, it was like a natural it came naturally, the idea of adding a little bit more of cleaning voices, or you already kind of had this background idea of I kind of want to maybe add more, or I want to explore another ways, and then like within time, like the concept came, like kind of what came first, like the egg or the chicken question, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew I wanted to do more clean vocals in general because like on the previous album, the guys basically let me do whatever I want for the most part, but I did specifically try to not do too much clean vocals in the last album again because it's like I was like, first I wanted to fit in and make sure that it's like, like I when I joined for the last album, the band already had a vision. Like they were already far along with the album. So I was like, let's help the band make the album they're already imagining, and I can sprinkle in some of my own stuff outside of that, but I didn't want to get too crazy with it. But I kind of knew going to this one, I was like, I want to do, I really wanted to show like the full range of what I feel like I can do on this album. And to me, that involves a lot of clean vocals and just having a big mix. And it did happen naturally, but yeah, I think from before we started writing, I knew I wanted to do more cleans. And one thing I'll say to that too is the whole band was on board with that. Like nobody had different ideas. Like some people don't realize this, but like uh, me coming in and being the guy that brings in the clean vocals, like that's what Scott wanted for the band as well. Like part of the reason I was hired for the band was specifically because I can do the clean vocals, and we sort of had an idea to gradually move in this direction even years ago. Um, and then for me, one thing that I pushed for with the music was like, I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna do more cleans. The music might be more like melodic, but at the same time, like, I really don't want it to feel like it's dumbed down or like softer or like more accessible necessarily. And to me, the way to complement that is like, let's do the craziest guitars we've ever had. Like, let's make the songs really technical and progressive and exciting, so that it doesn't feel like watered down, like poppy version of Fallujah, like at all. And there's a lot of examples of bands that I think do that really well, like Between the Buried and Me, for example. Like that's a band that has a lot of clean vocals, but like they're no one would ever call them like sellouts or like too soft or whatever. It's like it's very natural, and it's about having the song structures and the complexity in the music, that's how to not sound like a poppy version of your own band.
No, yeah, that makes sense. And but still, having the opening, but now like with all the material recorded, did you felt like the guys having like even like kind of a surprising, like a surprise feedback to you as well, like oh maybe something like oh I we kind of were open to it, but we didn't expect to be like maybe this, like this, like how was like the
Actually, no. Yeah, not at all. I think so the music was pretty much all written by me, Scott, and Sam. With Scott being like our founding member, original guitarist, and Sam is our other guitarist that joined for this album. So it's Sam's first time working with us. So it's kind of us three working together the whole time. And they actually pushed for it as well. Like there were parts where they would, suggest singing on parts where I wasn't even going to sing. Um, so yeah, I think we were totally on board. Like we all worked on the songs together. So sometimes like they would give me feedback on the vocals, or I would suggest changes to the instrumentals or whatever. Um, but it was never in the direction of like there's too many clean vocals. It was always like particular things with like what if the melody is different, or what if we change whatever. Yeah, everybody was totally on board for the new direction. I think it's a very natural intersection of the music that we all like. Like all three of us bring our own influences to the table. And I think if you look at the ones that overlap in the middle, it's stuff that sounds like this album. It's like the progressive, technical, still death metal, but like sort of a lot of variety in it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And yeah, oh, that's nice to hear. also
Yeah,
because
yeah.
then on the end of the day, like it's it really gives the idea of how you were saying, like of you how you all came together and like we're really like aligned with the same vision and path to take on. So that's really nice to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, we are coming close to the end. So before Marcos push my ear because I tend to talk a lot, I'm going to make my final question to you today. So if I was kind of a last thought idea, if it were for like to make an introduction to Fallujah and Xenotaph to others that didn't had didn't like previously had contact with, but before they listen to, since you guys are really on the sci-fi and kind of movie side of things, if you were to maybe give like three movies, maybe sci-fi movies, to
Mhm.
prepare someone to, like
Yeah,
their
yeah.
heads to then go and listen to the album, which movies those
Yeah,
would be?
easy. I would say the new Dune movies, the two parts that have come out last couple of years, that influenced us all a lot. Like we watched those together and we all love those movies. Blade Runner 2049, like the newer Blade Runner movie, was a big influence. And I think Interstellar is the third one I would say.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all movies that we all totally love and agree on as a band and have watched together, and just the general aesthetic and vibes of those movies have definitely seeped into our stuff.
Interesting. Maybe definitely we'll pick one of those and like mute the music,
Yeah,
put
yeah,
your guys' songs and see how that kind of unpack.
yeah.
But yeah, hey Kyle, once again, it was super nice to talk to you today. I had a blast with you, and thanks for your time. And yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to see the comments that everyone surely will put like super positive, because it's really a nice work.
Thank you, man.
Really
Yeah,
congratulations, and yeah, see you guys hopefully one day here in Brazil.
yeah. I'd love to come down there as soon as we can. Yeah, good interview. Yeah, can't wait to get the album out. Hope everybody gives it a chance, and yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody thinks.
Yeah, man, 100%. So yeah, take care and have a nice one. Peace.
Yeah, thank you.